We're live, baby. Yes. All right. So welcome. We're streaming live. So live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the Jones and Arocho show, the Jersey Boy Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones. Say hi, Byron. And me, Victor Arocho. Today is January 28th, 2021. Man, this month flew by. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to us on the Sportscast and all your channels, YouTube, Periscope, iTunes. I still got to remember all this. If you are on iTunes, please leave us a rating and review it. It'll help us out tremendously. So we have an iOS app. You can download it. You can listen to this podcast. You don't have to just watch the video. You can listen to us talk sports, Jersey, Britain Boy, and sports around the league, breaking news. So please listen on in. And if you can, you want to visit us on the website at sportscast.net. That's the sportscast.net. Or follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. And pretty soon we're probably streaming live there on Twitter as well, since they're being, I understand they're being Twitter's gobbling up somebody. So let's get it on. All righty. So check us out. You got there. Boom. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And today's show is sponsored by Symmetry Financial. If you seriously would like to get out of that less than 9 years and you have some doubt about retirement, please text DFL to 305-318-5735, 305-318-5735. Text DFL, Symmetry Financial, and the Debt-Free Life Program. Mr. Byron, how are you today? You're looking cold.
Man, it's cold up here. It's 18 degrees. It's cold.
Oh my God, 18 degrees.
18, 1-8.
Oh man, let me show you. Let me show you something. Let's see. Let me show you how it is over here.
Oh, nice. Must be nice.
It's a little windy.
You and Petrosino, he had something on his earlier showing how lovely it was down there too.
A little windy, no, but he's up central, so he's a little colder. Like I'm south.
Yeah, 60 degrees instead.
Yeah, during these times they can go 10 to 15 degrees less than us. Like Jacksonville gets cold.
What, 18 degrees cold?
And Florida State gets cold. Yeah, it'll get cold. Yeah, think about the ice storms in Georgia.
Sure, it does.
Anyway, so welcome to Philly. I can't believe it's that cold. No snow though, right?
No, it's coming though. We're gonna get feet.
Hey, so we were just talking about what do you got on there? What kind of shirt you got on there?
Rollway State Prison, better known as East Jersey State Prison now.
Wait a second. You have an NYPD hat on with a prison sweatshirt on.
Yes. I'm trying to, you lock them up and then you babysit.
You're represented all over the place.
I'm covering everything.
You know what's interesting is that growing up, we only knew it as Rahway State Prison, right? And my understanding is it must have happened, like you said, it's changed all over.
Yep.
But I know Rahway's got some really nice areas of Rahway.
But what else do you remember about going in that area? What else is down the street?
Okay, I don't know if I want to get into too much of that. But
no, White Castles, man. White Castle. There you go.
All right, my mind was going somewhere else.
Bring it back. White Castle.
Oh, I should tell my wife. She bought like a box of White Castles, and she still, my wife doesn't like dairy or cheese, and she doesn't realize just White Castles don't come with cheese. Like, I go, that's how we order them. I go, well, honey, we don't order them in a freezer. It's real late at night when we go there. But Rahway, they changed the name because it starting to become attached to the name of the town. You know what I mean?
They had the Scare Straight program, was going there for years. They had there. So, they changed all the state prisons names pretty much. Like Trenton State was, New Jersey State Prison, Southwoods, and so it was bound to happen anyway.
Did they all go private?
No. They're all run by the New Jersey Department of Corrections, my union guys.
Yeah. I was going to tell you, it's interesting they changed that name, but Sylvester Stallone had a film there.
Locked Up.
Lock Up. Yeah, that was a good movie. Over there. All right. Well, let's get into it.
With John Amos. Don't forget him. John Amos was in the movie. He was the guard.
John Amos.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the one that had the cool glasses on.
You're talking about John Amos from Good Times?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, he was the guard. He was the the guard. Yeah. Well, correctional police officer now.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I like him, John Amos.
Yeah.
He's always a big dude, man.
From Newark too.
Is he? Yeah, well, good. He's a good dude. All right, so let's get into there's a little bit there. We got the NYPD and a prison over there close to our town, anyways. All right, so let's go Giants. I'm gonna bring up some stuff because every time I ask you, you seem to bring it up. So, Giants, I got two things. I think you brought this up last time, but I just wanted to see what you thought and go from there. We have two defensive linemen, two cogs in the wheel. I read on the defensive line, Leonard Williams and Talvin Tomlinson. They're both going to be free agents. What's happening with that, man?
Just gotta wait and see. One of them, Williams had that big year, with all them sacks and everything. So he's probably going to get paid as an edge rusher, even though as big as he is, he's really not considered that. And their defense is defensive end, but he's getting ready to get paid. It could be anywhere from $17 million a year to $22 million a year. And the other guy, as well. He's been a good soldier. You never hear anything about Tomlinson, another Alabama guy, and it's going to be hard for them to sign both these guys.
Yeah, they were talking about that because they did mention they were committed to start getting some offensive weapons. Like, we got to start putting up points. The league it's going to be tough. I don't know. The league's putting up points, right? The guys that are winning are putting up points. But your defense is still pretty good, and we play good defense. But they were talking about making room for the salary cap because they said they're decreasing the salary cap.
Yeah, they did because of COVID.
Oh my God! So
they didn't make any money. You figured there's nobody in the stands, no concession money, no nothing. So what do you think the owner's going to do? They got all that money from TV, all of them get the little TV thing, but they still lost a lot of money this year.
Yeah, and none of the players are paying it back.
Not a penny. I know I wouldn't get mine back.
Well, you mean they may have to start putting some brothers on furlough. Work from home.
Picture that. Well, because you figure they're going to try to get rid of probably Nate Solder. He's got to go. Unless the big tackle.
Yeah.
Golden Tate got to go.
They need offense. We got Saquon, but we need some receivers.
You need an offensive line that's going to block for him.
We need an offensive line, yeah.
Because even Zeitler, the other guard, the right guard, he has a big fat contract too. So, today I was reading that they're thinking about, as far as restructuring his contract, so they can, get a little more extra money because they got to sign those guys on defense or it's going to be a mess. They'll be able to score on offense and they'll give up a ton of points on defense because they didn't have anybody to stop anybody.
Well, we'll get into this next, but I just want to segue into that real fast. I'm a big Brady fan. I was never I'm a fan of the Patriots organization, but I'm a Giant fan. We beat them twice. That's all I care about, right? Not an AFC fan, so it didn't affect me with the Dolphins or the Jets or so forth. But there's a lot of people out there that still, they don't like seeing them back in the Super Bowl. They don't like, and we'll get into that, but I just wanted to make a comment as it related to salary caps and people not making money. No one ever mentions the years that Brady kept taking salary cuts or not getting paid top dollar for the team. And it was years. Now, granted, he's made money outside when you're making that kind of money, but you still see other people don't do it. Sean Payton from the Saints. Do you know that they didn't want to give his one of his coaches when he first signed the amount of money that he wanted? He goes, "No problem. Take the $100,000 from my contract."
Wow, that's nice of it.
Those are pretty cool things, bro. You do that. That changes a little bit of the game. So, but Brady did it for 6-7 years, man.
Well, it also helps that you have a supermodel wife, and you really don't have to worry about, all the little. I'm just calling it the way I see it. If my wife is
Why
making
you gotta
30,
go that way? Why you gotta,
it has a lot to do with it. If
she's
his
worth
wife is making 300,
that
400
part is
million
she's worth
dollars,
4 times more.
the what?
4 times more she's worth.
Yeah. So why would he worry about a little chump change playing football?
I mean, that is just not. You are the worst.
Man, I'm telling you,
If I would have told you the opposite, you would have been on the side of righteousness.
probably.
Yeah, what I said. I don't think he did it for that, right? But if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But I was impressed. I didn't realize how much those supermodels make.
Millions.
Dude, she's like worth $400 million.
So why would I worry about me playing football? That's like a hobby. It's a hobby. It's like chump change. He's making $15 million a year playing football.
But Elway was worth more.
Cool.
Outside of football than inside.
Outside, yeah, like car dealerships and all kinds of stuff. He probably doesn't have all that stuff now because
he sold Huizenga when Huizenga was buying them all up. When they won, Huizenga took out a full-page ad in Denver Post. Congratulations. That's because he bought his business. They were partners.
Yeah,
we'll go back to that, but I still think that he doesn't get the credit. And then I got some things about quarterbacks. This was going to be light, but then there's so much going on. All right, so the free agency, we're worried about salary cap. Now I understand they're decreasing it. You make sense because I was just trying to put this together of what's happening there with the concessions and so forth. But, here's the other thing. When we talk about all that money, I don't understand is how much can it really cost all those people working there, right? And if just the players and the coaches too, all those guys that make money, just chip in, right? Something to keep those people to make at least the same thing they made the year before. It can't be a big donation.
I think that the players, a lot of guys, football is a short period of time that you're going to play. So these guys are going to try to make as much money as they can for themselves before they worry about anybody else. I'm
okay with that. I'm not saying that, I'm not judging them either. I'm just saying that I'm just thinking from a business perspective. I mean, how many people work a stadium? Maybe 1,000, right? And it's also the companies, and it's not just like the companies. It's the companies that were paying them anyways. They make money like Pepsi. And there's a whole
sponsors and stuff.
There's a whole bunch of people that are involved for, what is it, 32 teams? It's 32 stadiums, right? I like seeing, when you raise money and so forth, but I also like being able to see that it's pushed in one section. So you got accomplishment on something, right? I mean, you got 32 stadiums. Right, you divide that amongst, you donate up to this amount if you want to. No one needs to know, and from a percentage perspective, this way it balances out because the guy who's making 800,000 ain't the same guy who's making 100 million, right? So don't put him in that same position. And what's the average? The average salary in the country is 54,000. People working in the stadium is probably 25, 30.
If that.
That's my point, right? So if you put the sponsors and everyone puts in that bowl, take care of that. Like that stadium should be a family, just like they say your team is, right? So anyhow, that's my opinion. Let's get off. I don't want to get off too much on that. All right. Well, let's see what we do on the salary, and what happens there, and keep me up to date. But we got to keep Leonard. I mean, God.
But you don't want to overpay for him. You don't want to do that. You really don't.
No, especially we're going to talk about that. Especially now, I don't think a lot of things are going on that I think people shouldn't overpay for. I want to see what your thoughts are. All right, we got Buffalo and Kansas. No, was it? Yeah, Buffalo and Kansas City. Who'd you pick?
Kansas City.
All right, good. Tampa, you picked Green Bay. I'm 6-0. 6-0.
Oh, you're lucky.
6-0.
Did you write it down?
Huh?
Did you write it down what you picked?
Right now or the other day?
Did you?
Well, first of all, you know I picked Kansas City, and then I've been a Tampa Buck fan since Brady got there, so it's impossible for me to pick against any of them. And look, Tampa's a number 5 pick. So what did you think about the game? What did you think about Buffalo and Kansas City? Kansas City like gives you 10 points. It comes right back.
Well, you figure they started getting after Josh Allen, and he started, doing what they figured he'd do if they put a little bit more pressure on him. Uh, I thought they would try to run the ball a little bit more, Buffalo, to slow down the game and, not give Kansas City all those extra possessions so they can do something with the ball. That's part of the problem. You got to slow them down. Get the ball, like when the Giants played Buffalo and what they do. Kept the ball, run. All right, play good defense. That's the only way you got to beat Kansas City Chiefs, is that to make sure they don't get the ball.
I mean, we've talked about that many times, even when with Brady and Breeze, right? We were like, keep the ball out of the other guy's hand. Like so far, all the games that I've been watching, that have been played, not that I've been watching, it's whatever quarterback had the ball last is the one that made me nervous.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just exactly what you said. I didn't care how much time it was.
And it's going to be the same thing in the Super Bowl. Whoever has the ball last is going to win.
Yep. And so I just think about all the quarterbacks they're playing. These are not just. This is not a year where it's just not one quarterback's okay. Tannehill's taking ahead. These are ace quarterbacks that are playing against each other, and the last one with the ball. If it's tight, I wouldn't want to be there. You know what I mean? That's going to make me nervous. So I want my team with the ball last. Right. What did you think about that? So with Buffalo and Kansas City, I don't know why they would have thrown so much. I think they're going crazy with these quarterbacks. What's happening with quarterbacks? We're going to get in that in a little bit after this game, after this what happened. But getting crazy with the quarterbacks. I don't see Kansas City just still looks just tough. I mean, they're tough. Kelsey is just incredible. I don't get it. Tyreek Hill is amazing. I mean, think about Byron. I mean, from defensive perspective, they got, if you go the lines parallel, they got a guy in every section.
We're going to talk about this later too. But what's going on with them? You notice he was limping. He's hurt. Mahomes. He when that one run that he had, and you look at it, it's like, he looked like he's limp. And then both of their tackles are out too. But Fisher, the left tackle, and the other guy's out. So they're going to be playing with backup tackles. People that played a lot, but they're still going to be backup tackles going against JPP and Shaq Barrett. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, they said he has turf toe. Can you explain to our listeners if they get an idea what turf toe is?
It sucks. I had it. It's awful. I had it one time.
Great definition.
And when I had it, what they told me is that we played on artificial turf, and that when you're running, and when you go to stop, and your toe, like your big toe and the little baby toe next to it, separates.
Oh.
And it puts that, and from that pressure on there, and there's nothing you can do. You can't tape it. You can't put ice. The ice doesn't work.
It's the toe just spread out.
Yeah, between your big toe and the next toe next to the big toe, and it's spread. Like when you go to stop on turf, it spreads. Oof. And it hurts. And because that ended Jack Lambert's career, I think, turf toe.
I didn't realize. First thing I think of, you ever see Grown Ups that with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock, any of them? Huh?
Yeah.
And the grandmother with bunions.
Yep.
That's what I
You'd rather have bunions than turf toe.
That thing was like this big.
You'd rather have that than turf toe.
Oh my God!
It could be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It just depends. It just sort of just goes away. There's nothing you could do for it, really.
Well, ain't nothing he's gonna do. He's gotta have to come to play. Well, we'll see what happens. Kansas City, they're just Kansas City. I'm not surprised they're there again. I think everybody picked it. Green Bay and Tampa. What you think about that one?
He threw a lot of interceptions on, what he usually doesn't do. Brady, 3 in a row, matter of fact. the big running back. He ran the ball like he was supposed to. They kept the ball away from Mr. Aaron Rodgers as much as they could. He's had a few issues up there too that he was, that they've talked about this week. You have probably the guy that's going to win the MVP, and he's not happy. You figure they drafted a quarterback number one, last year, and they haven't drafted, the wide receivers, last couple of years, to help him. He's got one guy, Devontae Adams. The running back got hurt. He didn't play, that much. Was it Aaron Jones? I think his name is the back, the backup running back. But, they should have won the game. But Tom Brady time.
They, I could see. I don't know if it's just about them drafting the quarterback, but I think that them not. When Andy Reid called 2 plays where you would normally run it to run the clock out, and he let Patrick Mahomes do what they normally do, throw the run pass option, the RPO, like you taught me, right? Okay. Everyone's telling him, oh, man, that's confidence in a quarterback. That's there's all of that, right? And then you got this guy that's been in the league for how long? He's going to be great. It's going to be a great one, and comes off the field in shock that, wait a second, if I would have known that, I might have ran on the 3rd down. Like his whole perspective of what he would have done would have changed. He didn't even think there was going to be a choice to go for a field goal.
Did you see how wide open is he? Aaron Rodgers of 3 years ago would have took off and ran. He'd have ran. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers at this age, he's like, yeah. Not that he's an old guy. He still moves around, pretty good. But it was like he was like, and that's when he threw the ball across like that. But it is what it is.
Okay, let's say he didn't run. My bottom line is, I'm getting texts. I don't know if these guys, TB, Greg, TB, Greg, and Brady ain't bad either. Greg referred to GOAT. Yeah, they're all shooting for the growth. The greatest Joey, Rise. I'm getting them all coming in. Awesome. Our figure out. Guys should just come in. Doing your homework. Good job. Well, call in, guys. See the number. Shit. I can't read text and do the stuff at the same time. I was going to say to you that I don't even know what they were thinking. It wasn't like their defense. Yeah, Brady threw a few interceptions, but before those interceptions, he was also eating you up. I mean, he's the guy called timeout on a 4th down and told Bruce Arians, this is open. This is open.
Okay, you played defensive back a long time.
Yes.
What did I always tell you toward the end of the half? What are you supposed to do?
Don't let no one behind you.
What happened?
The only one that should be behind you is the zebra.
Well, guess what?
That's it.
That little Scotty Miller, is that his name?
Yeah.
Blew right past the guy.
One of the guys in the morning, if somebody else said that, they would have got in trouble. The guy goes, you know what happens sometimes? We line up to the line because he was defensive back, and we got this preconception of, because of this guy's complexion, I ain't got no problem. The guy goes, he ran a 4.3 in the 40. I don't care what complexion you are. That's fast.
They interviewed him today, that guy, Scotty Miller. He's saying that he's faster than Tyreek Hill.
He's fast. I mean, he's fast. He just runs deep. Remember, Bruce Arians runs deep. I don't know. They should race because Tyreek Hill's fast. They would be different players, but 4.3 is fast.
He said he could outrun him. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Well, that's pretty. Well, first of all, I don't think a guy like that would say that if he didn't think he had a chance. That means he's that fast.
No, in his mind, he's that fast.
In what?
In his mind, he's thinking it. He's not, he's not thinking rational.
This is a big guy talking smack now. Look, you're a defensive back and you run a 4.3. You're fast, dude.
Tyreek Hill ran a 4.3.
Billy's coming in. Hello, welcome to the Jersey Boy Sports Show. I see Billy. How you doing? You there? We need some audio on your side. All right, we can get some audio on them soon. You click on the audio, Billy. All right. 4-3's fast, bro. I don't care what you say.
4.29 is faster.
Who's for 4.29?
Tyreek Hill. That is pro day.
Yeah, but that's one day. 4.29 is a tenth off of 4.3, dude.
It's not as close as you think.
There's no doubt. But that's just in the combine, right? So can you do it all the time? And how quick are you with pads on? There's a bunch of different things that have to do with it.
They call Tyreek Hill a cheater for some reason. So
no, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying, if you're running a 4.3, you have the right to say I'm faster than somebody because you're pretty close.
Whoever that quarterback is, he found out real quick. He's like, there he goes. Right past him.
Yeah, but again, Brady called for that play. He goes, they're leaving. He's got single coverage on Scotty Miller. They're not going to expect it. He's going to look him off and just toss it.
Yeah, guess what? That's exactly what happened. No risk it, no biscuit. Bruce Arians.
Man, he may have messed up later, but you got to give him credit. That was great. That was balls out call. That was a great call by Brady. And it was a great call by Arians because Arians got to allow him to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like he come over and Arians gave him the credit. Oh. Arians said, no, yeah. He goes, that was Tom. Tom came over. He goes, hey, this is open right now. Billy tried to get in, but we couldn't get his audio on. So, Billy, see the number here? Just call this number and then put in this number and hit pound. That's it. See, 646-558-8656. Then does it say access code? 880-6981-3140 pound. And you're in. All right. So, yeah. And then then Tom had the ball. What was that? They said it was the second or third time that it wasn't in his hands when he's lost in the NFC. So I think that pissed him off. I would have gave him the ball. I wouldn't have went for 3.
What
I wouldn't have went for the field goal, not against Brady.
What do they always say? Take the points.
Yeah, but not then. But you could say that, take the points, but then you just gotta be careful because it's to me, taking the points in certain situations is the same thing as not letting the other quarterback have the ball. Right? It's almost like there's a time when, just take points, but then there's a time where it don't matter. If you're not going to beat them with 3s if they're hitting 7s. Right? You're not going to beat basketball if they're hitting. You can't go 3 for 2 every time. You're going to lose. So there's a point where who you're playing against. You're playing against the GOAT across the thing, and not for nothing, you got a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Take the points. I'm always say that. Take it.
You lost on this one. All right. So now we got them coming up. So the keys to victory. So now the keys to victory. We got the Bucks and the Chiefs. Who you taking?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. You're taking the Bucks? Oh, really? Good for you. I'm taking the Bucks. There's no confusion there.
Whoa. But why? You want to know why?
Why you're taking him? No, why?
Instead of the Chiefs, because you have the 2 hurt tackles. You have JPP. I'm a defensive guy. JPP and Shaq Barrett coming around the edge. They got Vita Vea, that big, huge tackle that they have in the middle, and Mr. Sue in the middle that are going to be pushing up into his face. They're going to come around and they're going to make him step up, and they're going to have a field day.
And that D-back, what's his name with the 2 last names?
Well, the best one,
Mustard, something Mustard.
Yeah. What was the kid's name? Antoine Winfield Jr. hasn't been playing. I don't know if he's playing in this game.
He's good too.
He was probably their best, defensive back. I think he's been hurt like the last 2 or 3 weeks, or whatever. I'm not sure if he's gonna play.
I forgot who. The kid he's got like he got an interception like each playoff game. He's playing phenomenal. There was one time where he almost could have got beat, but the guy took the wrong way and he ended up picking off the ball. So and you know that's an effect of how good your line is. You give me a great line, I'll have 30 picks, right? Because now I know when the eyes light up with that receiver, that ball's got to come out quick, and it's coming towards, right? But yeah, that's why you're picking Kansas City. I'm picking the Bucks as I pick the Bucks from the get go. Antonio Brown do you know if he's going to be in?
He said he was playing.
If Antonio Brown's playing, it's all over. I'm telling you right now, Brady is going to get him. I bet you he has an incentive in his contract that if he gets a touchdown in the Super Bowl, he's going to make some serious cash.
Well, he has an incentive. I was looking at the other day. It had $500,000 if he wins the Super Bowl. He already got one for like 1.5 million to get, whatever it was, and he has another 500. I don't know why it's only 500,000, but 500,000 for him to go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl.
He got 250 the game before the one that just passed, and that's what they were talking about. Brady knew that if he caught this touchdown pass, he'd get another bonus of 250,000.
That's chump change. That's chump change for him.
Oh my God! Would you take it?
Absolutely.
He jump change. Look, hey, all I'm just saying to you, I think again, here's another Brady moment, right? Brady, they talk about it. Brady knows his guys, his offensive guys, when he knows I don't know what he knows the specifics or not, but he knows what their incentives are. Guys runs, the things they should have done, what they need to get the next level. Mark, you get a bunch of them coming in. And I'm telling you, he hit it. Mark Hurliak, the Super Bowl.
Mark, oh boy, that's Mr. Perk Dan boy.
Mark Hurliak, the Super Bowl narrative: Tampa DL versus Mahomes. That's the narrative. Ooh, another D. Sonya's taking the Chiefs. Mark, that's a good point. He's right. It is a good point. Well, he's a D lineman like you, though. That's not fair. I got two defensive ends. At
Clemson, too.
Nah, Mark was badass. There's no doubt. But my point being is you're both defensive guys, but you're right. You got those edge rushers, and he's hurt because he's going to hurt you there. But they're going to figure it out. They're trying something.
Both the tackles are hurt for Kansas City. Kansas City runs, like you said, those crossing patterns where they come all the way across the field. He's not going to have that, and that run across the field like that takes a long time.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
They're not going to be able to run if they don't block those ends. They're not going to be able to run those long crossing patterns that Hill run, or the long ones that Kelsey runs across the field.
Yeah. And it also prevents him from getting outside Mahomes because that's when he's the most dangerous. Yeah. I'm telling you, watch his drop back. His drop back is farther than most quarterbacks.
He really didn't drop that. Like this game, he really didn't drop back as far as he
got turf toe.
And it hurts.
Well, I got someone coming in. Hey, got 732 number. Welcome to the Jersey Boy Sports Show. Who we got talking to?
Mark Hurliak.
Hey, Mark. Hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Mr. Mark Hurliak. Hot damn.
You still pronounce my last name wrong, dude. It's Hurliak.
Whatever, man.
And I killed it. At least he got closer. He should have known it better than me. I only know of you. I know of you because I was the young one over there in Stop and Shop where you're from. I was over there at Stop and Shop. That's how I knew of you and your play. And I was proud, you get your scholarship to Clemson and so forth. But I kept calling you Mark Hurliak.
Oh, I've been called everything, dude. Hurliak, Fartlook, everything.
But no, I think you and Byron bring up a good point. It's definitely going to be that defensive line is going to be the difference of this game.
I saw what they did to Green Bay, and let me tell you something. I never saw Rodgers get hit, get tossed, be pressured. I think he was nervous for the whole game. That DL line was phenomenal.
Yeah, and the defensive backs are playing pretty well too. They're getting a lot of good hits, getting a lot of turnovers, and we're turning them into points.
Yep. Absolutely, I think it's gonna be a defensive game. I think Tampa Bay's defense is probably slightly better than KC's, but I think offensively, they're pretty even for the most part. But Mahomes is special. He's a special kid that you get once in a blue moon. that can just about do everything, the way he throws, the way he acts. He's having fun. He's smiling. He's having a good time. And the worst part about it is he's 25 years old.
And he's pretty big, like
extremely-
Byron said, right? Byron, he's 6'3", Byron.
He's not a little quarterback. He got some size to him.
Exactly. And you know, one thing he like you said, Mark. One thing he's a special breed. He's doing things that, if you think about them, they're like second nature in just playing sports. But the quarterback position, you don't see a lot. All right, someone else is coming in too. Hold on. And what I'm saying is, when he'll fake going out and then stay in bounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's looking a different way and he's tossing it. And he said they actually practice that. Welcome to the Jersey Boy Sports Show. Who we got here on 601?
Your favorite caller, Justin Riley from the Riley and Constant Show.
Justin Riley, the host of the Riley Constant Show. Byron was just talking about one of your Alabama players.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Which one was that?
Tomlinson.
And we have a good friend of ours, Mark, on the phone. Mark got when he had a full ride to Clemson. He's also a defensive player. Justin's a big Alabama guy, so we got corners. Two guys into the corner. We got a
Alabama guy with a Clemson guy.
Byron, you need help. I need some help here, Byron.
Of course.
Byron?
That Mark is also a military veteran. I just want to put that out there. He served in the military as well.
Yes, Mark. Thank you for your service.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, is Byron a Clemson fan tonight? I didn't see what shirt he was wearing today.
Yeah.
Mark, tell Mark. Byron, tell Mark what you got on.
I'm a Broadway State prison football guy today.
I gotcha.
Mark,
man,
it's not called Broadway State Prison anymore, Justin. Mark, remember that?
Gotcha.
Well, I'm reaching from, like you say, for a fanboy, so I'm familiar with Broadway.
Yeah, exactly. They changed.
As a matter of fact, there was a kid that we went to school with at Perth Amboy. I'm not sure if you remember him, and his name was Greg Polacastro.
Oh yeah,
he worked in the correctional facility. He worked in Trenton, I believe, and I also believe he did some time in Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah. He was at their class reunion because his sister Jill graduated with me.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So Greg,
I know Greg. Across the street.
Greg was with you guys. Over there in Spa Springs.
Spa Springs, very good. That's right. Kelly Avenue.
Yeah, I knew. That's where we used to play ball. We used to play ball over there. So that's where Jill and I knew each other. The Millers, Ronnie Miller, the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin, man, I was missing you for the Baltimore. What was going on in Baltimore? But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we right now got Justin, the narrative of the show and the Super Bowl. What we're saying, and Byron and Mark brought up a good point, is it's the defensive line versus Mahomes.
That's pretty much it. That defensive line is crazy, man. They went off this past weekend. Shaquille Barrett, man, just ate Green Bay's lunch. I mean, nonstop. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see the offensive line of Kansas City going against those guys because, man, they came ready to eat. Like I said, they feasted, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down.
I think they're just catching. I think they're going to hit it just right. And I mean, watching Rodgers getting harassed all game like he's never been so before. I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't run in that short 10-yard touchdown versus throwing when he threw it for the incompletion. He should have ran for it. I think he had enough of it.
Byron said the same thing, except for Byron said he wasn't going to run for it. Number one. Number two, Mark, I think Rodgers was certain that they were going to run another play.
Right.
Byron,
I think Rodgers.
You were mentioning the run, right? That you said that he would have ran that.
I think if it was Rodgers 4 years ago, he'd have took off and ran. He'd have tried to get there. The Rodgers of 37, 38, whatever he is now, no, I ain't doing that. No.
Personally, I think personally, the coach, if I was coaching him, I would say you should have ran with it, dude. We got one more game after. We're playing for tomorrow. I don't know why you didn't take off. because they weren't really. I mean, as much as Green Bay had opportunities, I think they wasted a lot of opportunities, and that was one of them. That could have been a game changer. 7 versus the 3, only 3 points versus the 7.
I agree. I wouldn't have gone for. I would have pissed me off. His eyes. He looked pretty upset. So who do you have? Who do you have, Mark, for the Super Bowl? Who you picking?
If Tampa comes with their defense and they put the hurt to Mahomes, I'm gonna go with Tampa.
Okay, I got Tampa. Sonia Jones got the Chiefs. Billy got the Chiefs. Myron got the Bucks. Greg got the Bucks. What do you got, Justin?
Well, depends on a couple of things. If that Tampa defense up front can disrupt things and make life a living hell for Mahomes and company, then I think that Tampa Bay has a strong chance of winning. But if Kansas City can solve that problem up front, I just think they have way too many weapons, and they also have that great chemistry going between all their players. And I just don't think that can be stopped. Yeah, if they can solve the problem up front and keep Tampa Bay's defense at bay, then Kansas City wins and they win big.
So you're going with Kansas City?
I'm gonna go with Kansas City. Yeah.
All right, you got Kansas City. You heard him, Byron. You don't want the flip flopping, Byron. All right, so we got those, we got those picks. Now let me ask you a question. Something interesting's happening. We were talking about before with money, right? With Brady and the quarterback guys and everybody listening. You know, I'm trying to think. I don't want to. I'm wondering if Jerry Jones actually made a good move with Dak because of all the problems that are taking place with all these $100 million quarterbacks. You got Deshaun Watson. You got Carson Wentz. You got Knowles. I mean, there's like you got Aaron Rodgers. There's a quarterback frenzy out there.
Well, there is. They said there's. I think who was it? I'm not sure if it was Sports Illustrated or maybe someone. I can't recall where I read it, but they said there's a potential of 10 quarterback movements by the time the season starts next year.
Exactly, but doesn't it gets super hard, Byron, like you were saying, like with the money on the quarterback, how are you going to unload that?
Well, you figure we got around here Carson Wentz. You see who won out with that. The player won out and the coach got fired. It's easier to get rid of the coach, who's a lot cheaper, than to get rid of the player that has a $128 million contract that nobody's going to pick up.
Well, they're not going to do that with Deshaun Watson, though. I love him in Miami. All these Dolphins, this down south there. I love it down here. These Southerners drive me nuts. I would take, Justin, I would take Deshaun Watson any day over Tua, over anyone in Miami right now. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Let me go ahead. Well, I can agree with you, and any other circumstance. But the thing is, with Miami though, they made a commitment to draft their quote unquote franchise player in the top 5 of this past year's draft. If you're going to do that, you got to commit to that guy firmly, and you also got to go out there and you got to give him weapons to find out if this experiment, and this is what it is right now, is going to work, because you really don't know. The guy came in, 6-7 games in and didn't really have a full season. And then too, when things got a little shaky, they yank him, which I think was ridiculous. If you're going to have a guy labeled as your franchise guy, you got to roll with him, good or bad. And most importantly, he's got to have the experience and learn how to deal with adversity. But I don't even think it should be a conversation for Deshaun Watson going to Miami right now. They already made a commitment to Tua Tagovailoa. Is Deshaun Watson a better quarterback right now?
I'll respond to that. Hold on one second. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say that there's been talk. There's even been talk of I'm a Cowboy fan myself. There's been talk about Dak, whether or not to have him play for another franchise for another, almost $40 million, or go after Watson. Watson will be cheaper to take over his salary cap for the Cowboys. If the Cowboys not willing to spend $40 million a year or $38 million, whatever this comes to, the next 4 years for Dak, it would be cheaper to go after Watson, trade away 1 or 2 draft picks, a couple of players, and you get into an experienced guy with some injuries, a couple of knee injuries, but the guy is established. He's experienced, and I think he's got a better arm and mechanics than Dak does.
Byron?
Yeah, but what are you going to, okay, you want to trade for him, the Cowboys. What are you going to give up? That's a lot.
You can give up you can give up a first. You can give up with a couple of wide receivers. We can give up. I mean, we got some choices. Not to say that it's perfect choices.
Gotcha.
They're going to have to give up like a 1 this year, probably a 1 next year, and probably one of those receivers. They're going to have to give up a lot.
That's right. They have a lot of receivers. That's trade bait.
Right.
But my question is, it doesn't solve the problem with their defensive needs. And that, if they get Deshaun Watson in there, the defense is still terrible. I mean, no disrespect towards the Cowboys, but that's a glaring need.
That's all right.
No, I told you, I agree with you, but it'd be cheaper on the Cowboys' salary cap to go with a Watson because that money that you're saving, guess where it's going to go on the defense side of the ball. And plus, the Cowboys have, I think, 8 to 10 draft picks this season. So there's a potential for them to fill in some spaces with young guys that's going to be cap friendly versus bringing in free agents. Granted, the Cowboys may not get into the Super Bowl next year. Who knows what? Could be another bad season of injuries. But the fact of the matter is they're kind of rebuilding now. Not on the offensive side of the ball, but more on the defensive side of the ball. And they have to stay with a 4-3 defense, and that's what this new defensive coordinator, Quinn, is all about. I think he plays with a high safety. So he's kind of like the expert that they've been looking for to play the 4-3 with their personnel that they have.
Interesting. Now, guys, let me make a couple points here real quick. One, hey, I always wanted Dak to get the money. I thought it was wrong, right? So I want to make sure I premise it with that. But as the league progressed,
no. Dak had the money when Jerry screwed up when they had the opportunity to sign him for $25 million a year.
Right.
2 years ago.
In general, I was for Dak. I think Dak's a good player. I just wanted to get that out there. What I'm saying, though, now we're seeing all these $100 million signees or quarterbacks, and Deshaun Watson wants out. He wants out. He's done. He's already said he wants to trade. Justin, on your part, I understand what you're saying, right? And I think Tua is going to be good, period, whether it's Miami or not. The difference for me, though, is yes, you go, you trade, you put your stock in there. But when there's a Steph Curry or there's a player that may not be a LeBron but is within the top 5, top 6, top 7, 8, you go take that guy, right? That's how I look at it. The next thing is, the Italian side of Tua, the Fragili. Byron likes to call him Fragili. Deshaun Watson and Justin, you and I were on a sports show with Santiago. We were talking, remember? I even made a comment, man, that kid I liked him better than Lamar. And then I had to back into that last year because Lamar really went off. But Deshaun Watson is he's only 25, man. So that's the only reason why I would say, hey, and the Miami has the cap. They got the money, they got the draft picks. Right, because and Tua will be great, but man, it's been we don't know, and it's been a long time that they've had a quarterback. This quarterback's been playing 3, 4, 5 years in the league, and he's a superstar. Byron?
Yeah, but do you want to pay him? You're gonna have to pay him. He goes to Miami, so now that throws out all the way they just saving money and buy this, do this and that. They're not gonna be able to do that, but you're gonna put so much money to that one guy. Whatever else they need to be fixed, they're not going to be able to fix because he's going to get a chunk of the money.
Yeah, he brings up a very good point, Victor. If he goes there, he's still going to a team without weapons. I mean, same situation in Houston. So it's basically like he's making a lateral move. Better defensive situation there than in Houston. But he essentially goes there with only Devontae Parker, and he's not bad, but he's not elite. And they don't have an elite running back. So what purpose does it serve?
Well, but okay. I don't want to go in there further, but let's keep going back into the last piece we were saying, that 10 quarterback carousel. I don't remember in my lifetime seeing, and they're all good quarterbacks. It's not like That's a lot of spots. There's only 32 teams. If there's 10 quarterbacks, that's a third of the league.
And they're veteran quarterbacks.
Yep.
Stafford's another.
Stafford's one of them.
Oh, let's name it. You got Stafford. You got Deshaun Watson. You got. You don't know what's happened with Dak. Who else is out there?
You got the kid from 49ers.
Garoppolo.
They're gonna keep. They're gonna keep him. Yeah, they're gonna keep him.
There's quite a few of those quarterbacks out there that right now. I think it's going to be free for all. They even made a comment about Goff today. They were talking about with the Rams quarterback.
Yep.
They don't know. We'll see what happens.
Here you go. Jimmy Garoppolo, Stafford, Wentz. They got on here. Sam Darnold, Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins, Dak.
Matt Ryan's staying. He's not going anywhere.
Retired. Cam Newton, Trubisky, Brissett. Right, they got all these other guys on here too. Dalton, Winston, Haskins went to Pittsburgh. That's pretty big names on there.
That's a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of pretty big names.
Well, there is. And Rosenberg
is
going to redo his
money.
contract.
How are you going to move them?
Say what, Mark?
I said they paid all those guys so much
I said
money.
Rosenberg is going to redo his contract so he can fit the cap.
Because his is like $43 million. This is something crazy.
That's correct. Yeah, that's a big hurt.
Huh?
Ben still wants to play.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he's got. I think his cap is like $43 million or something.
His cap number is huge.
That's crazy, man. I would think they'd force him out of retirement. That's funny. All righty. So we got our picks for the team. We have that. We got the quarterback carousel. We're getting there to that point. Okay, so we got our picks. We got the Hall of Fame. You gave me a lot of Hall of Fame, so I don't know how much you wanted to go over that. And then we got what do you think about the Texans? We got 2 of the 7 coaches hired. The second minority coach hired. But that job is a terrible job, that Texan job. I don't care whoever. That's a bad job, man.
Man, he's terrible.
I think it's a dumpster fire, man. Not a good situation in Texas or Houston. No. Yeah.
I think Byron, they hired a guy. I think he's just a scapegoat for now.
He's 65, and then I looked at him. He's 65 years old. He's been a position coach his whole career since the 90s, and now instead of them waiting another week, maybe they can get the enemy, or maybe they can get the other guy. Now they're going to just go ahead and hire somebody for the sake of hiring. He might do a good job. Who knows? But they should have waited.
Yeah, I just think that whole organization is all messed up, and I think they hired him more as he's 65 as a scapegoat. I don't know. I just thought whoever took that job, it's going to be a bad thing.
Well, I tell you what, Benamy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, is due. I think he'll be a phenomenal head coach.
He's been talked about on our show. We've been talking about him. Byron's been talking about him. It keeps coming down to getting out of the wings of Andy Reid being known for calling the plays. You know what I mean? They're not looking at him. Right, Byron, as you were saying?
Yep.
Right?
What can he do? They're successful because they go deep into the playoffs, and that hurts a lot. These guys that are wanting to get these jobs.
Exactly.
Who's to say Bieniemy might not be Reid's successor at Kansas City? You think about that?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How old is Reid, Byron? Look him up on your flip phone. Look up Reid on your flip phone.
What? How old is he? Stop. Right now.
Get on your America Online.
Show Mark your flip phone, man.
It's a track phone.
Mark, he has a flip phone.
Yeah, you have a senior citizen phone?
Yes. with the big letters and everything that I can see.
Oh my God. Hey, Justin, just so you know, though, I think I mentioned earlier, Mark is he's a graduate from he's an alumni from our high school. Him and Byron played together. Mark got
Awesome.
the ride to Clemson. He was a freaking awesome football player. He's an Army Ranger, right, Mark? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
He's an
Yes,
Army
sir. I
Ranger.
went in service after. Yeah.
Man, that's incredible, brother. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
he's one of our, as we talk about some of the athletes. Yeah, Byron.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were going to give us the age. So Mark is on our list of Perth Amboy athletes. I would talk a little bit about Perth Amboy athletes. You want to go on some of them, Byron?
I'm gonna go over the family members. The other half that I kept getting. You have the Kushners. I'm sure Mark remembered them. Bob Kushner.
Yeah.
Ron Kushner and the other Bob Kushner, 74. You got a whole bunch of Ricks. Wilbur Ricks, for basketball. Brian Ricks. Patrick Ricks. Another Brian Ricks. Brian Ricks Jr. Ricks and Ashley Ricks. We have the Kudricks, Billy Kudrick, Gary Kudrick.
Yep.
I'm sure Mark knows him. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I remember the Kudricks.
Big J Zigniewski and his brother.
Yeah.
Kenny Rawls. This is before us. This is the 60s. Kenny Rawls, Ronnie Rawls, Larry Williams, Timothy Williams. From the Stocktonville, I knew those guys. Doug and Kyle Eaton. Yeah, I'm sure you remember Kyle. Rodney Lamb,
Yep.
Mary Lamb.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So that's what the other half of the old family list that I've come up with.
Yeah. Oh, and also Mark will know these guys too. Mark, you'll know the Nemeths.
Nemeth, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know the dads and you remember I was friends with them. They were my age. I didn't know the father and the uncles. They were all good.
Oh yeah, and the Gatises, Ricky Gatis.
Yeah, the Gatises, the big family, yeah.
Yeah, the Rescos. And then found it, and I knew Janeski was a coach. I didn't know he played.
Yeah.
Oh, Janeski?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Screaming Ray, yeah. Oh.
We can't say Janeski score. He's on right now.
Not on live. Hey Justin, just so you know, Mr. Janeski was our coach, and he was a history teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So and
Big
he was real hard on football players. Like
he was brutal.
It wasn't a cakewalk in history in his class. We were in his class.
No.
It
was brutal.
You had to sit up straight.
It
was like Army. You were in the service when you were in his class.
He was probably
my
one of the
coaches were like that too.
I'm sorry?
He was probably one of the best, well-dressed high school teachers you've ever seen. He always wore a jacket and a tie.
No, he always had a suit on.
Pants. Yeah.
And he's
You never saw him out of a suit.
And he's still dressed.
And he was a yeller. He was one of those yellers on the practice field.
He was past yelling.
And he always did this, right? When he was really mad, he'd get his hand on Arocho. That's it. Well, we got and we also got a bunch of soccer players that came in, so we're gonna be mentioning the families. But the one thing, Mark, that was pretty proud of, and Justin, is that like from our town, it's small, but there was some generational athletes there that was pretty cool. You go back and think about it. I was surprised because I was friends with the grandkids, right, or the great grandkids, and I didn't know that their parents were really good. Right, so we're pretty proud from our.
Do you remember who the athletic trainer was for us?
Mr. Massapus?
Oh, Massapus.
Yeah. Now, do you remember the old slogan, the song we had for him?
No, I don't.
You don't remember? All right, I'll say it live over Zoom. Mass the balls of brass when his ass when mass the balls of brass when he runs fire shoes out of his ass.
Boy, that brings back memories, man. Woo-wee.
So let's hope they can play it on Perth Amboy Hometown so everybody can see it. All right, so we're going to be wrapping this up. Mark, man, I'm really glad you joined our show. Mark,
I've been wanting to. I've been too damn busy, man.
Thank him, man. What you got to say to Mark?
All right, guys.
Hey, Mark, hey, thanks, man, for calling in the show, man. It's been a long time. When all this.
No, dude, my invitation is still outstanding. Next time you're in town, man, Perth Amboy, come up, we'll have a steak, have a beer, and shoot the breeze.
Where you at, Mark? Are you in Amboy or you're outside?
I'm in Jackson.
You're in Jackson.
My father still lives in Perth, Amboy, but I'm in Jackson with my family, my wife and 2 kids.
All right, awesome. All right, well, call us in anytime. Justin, the same to you. Hold on, Mark, before we leave, so you know what we do every time after the show.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, hey, thanks for calling. You guys are always welcome anytime. Good stuff, good sports. Type in, share us, and like us on YouTube. We always end the show real quick. Let me get my piece here. I had a copy of all of his Hall of Fame people.
We'll get that next week.
Yeah. Well, this was good. Okay. Please tell me I didn't type over it. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So we always like to end our show with freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can do to extend our hand in times of need to those who are willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise. So please go to the Gary Sinise Foundation. It's SINISE Foundation.org. It's an organization for our military, our servicemen, our first responders. It's a great organization. It's one that's close to Byron, and having Byron and his family serving. We have a Army Ranger and a friend of ours on the line. I just want to say, hey, contribute. Thank you all for your service. So thank you. I also want to remind everybody that on every Tuesday night, we have the Constant and Riley show. It's at 7 p.m. Is that correct, Justin?
Yep, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, but you want to talk Alabama football, Mark? That's a danger zone.
Oh, God.
They all talk Alabama football, but they are they're good guys, and they have a great show.
When I was at Clemson, our biggest rivalry was the Gamecocks, and still is today.
Oh, that's funny. Look at the shirt I'm wearing. I didn't even know.
The question was who wants to be a Gamecock? I don't understand it. Because South Carolina is divided into two. The Gamecocks are one side, Clemson the other side, and that's it.
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine that went to South Carolina. Again, please remember to follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast. You can visit us on the sportscast.net. I want to thank everybody. God bless. Byron, you got any parting words?
Again, I want to thank Mark and Justin for calling in. Mark, thank you for your service and all the good things. Tell your brother, I said what's up, Clive, and it's been great, talking to you. Like I said, when all this is said and done, I'm coming up there and we're gonna have a nice day. Who's buying, me or you?
You got it, dude.
Who's buying?
Anytime, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
And it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure being on tonight.
And John Carroll Sr. picked up he's selecting Tampa Bay. Vonda didn't pick. Getting all these things in. Oh, my fraternity brother said to say, hey, in 10 years, Byron, you'll be in vogue with the flip phone.
Leave my phone. Wait a minute. Where's my phone? There it is right here. Look at that there. Look at that. Woo!
But he's ahead of his time. He's Star Trek. Hey, gentlemen, God bless. Stay safe. Prayers to everybody in the family and to our servicemen and women. And hopefully our country gets stronger. Have a good night, guys.
Oh, my God.
Good night, guys.
Yeah,
Good night, man.
one out.
God bless y'all.
Bye.
You too.